Imagine a house the size of a soccer field. It weighs more than 400 metric tons, travels at bullet speed, has cost humanity $150 billion, and yet it's constantly falling. But it never crashes. We're talking about the International Space Station, the ISS. It's the most complex, most expensive, and most extreme engineering structure in the entire history of our civilization. Right now, as you watch this video, people are living and working about 400 kilometers above your heads. But how is it even possible to live in a vacuum? Where does the oxygen come from if there's no atmosphere around? How do astronauts drink water, use the restrooms, sleep, and, most importantly, why hasn't this gigantic contraption crashed down on our heads yet? Today we're going to take the ISS apart piece by piece. You'll learn how the life support system works, what space food is made of, and why life in zero gravity isn't just about fun flights through the modules. It's also hard work. Get comfortable. We're heading into orbit. Let's start with the biggest myth of all. Many people think there's no gravity on the ISS because it's so far from Earth. That's an absolute lie. At an altitude of 400 kilometers, Earth's gravity is only 10% weaker than it is on the surface. If the station were simply suspended in place, it would crash to the ground in a matter of minutes. So why do astronauts float in weightlessness, yet the station doesn't fall? The answer lies in its incredible speed. The ISS travels at a speed of about 28,000 kilometers per hour. That's roughly 8 kilometers per second. The station is indeed constantly falling toward Earth under the pull of gravity, but because of its tremendous lateral velocity, it constantly misses the planet. The Earth is round, and the surface seems to slip away from beneath the falling station. This state is called free fall, and it is precisely what creates the effect of weightlessness inside the station. Because of this speed, the ISS completes a full orbit around Earth in just 90 minutes. This means that the station's crew experiences sunrise and sunset 16 times a day. Just imagine, every 45 minutes, day turns to night outside the porthole. To maintain this speed and altitude, the station needs fuel. Due to friction with the remnants of the atmosphere, yes, at an altitude of 400 kilometers, space isn't completely empty. The ISS gradually slows down and descends. About once a month, cargo ships docked to it fire their engines to nudge the station back into the correct orbit. If this isn't done, the ISS will fall out of orbit and burn up in the atmosphere. Okay, so the station stays in space, but there's no air or water up there. Delivering all of that from Earth via rockets is insanely expensive. Delivering a single kilogram of cargo costs thousands of dollars. That's why the ISS functions as a virtually perfect closed ecosystem. Let's start with breathing. Where does the oxygen come from? The station is equipped with an oxygen generation system. These devices use the process of electrolysis. They take ordinary water and pass an electric current through it, splitting the water molecules into hydrogen and oxygen. The hydrogen is released into outer space, while the oxygen is fed into the cabin. As for the carbon dioxide that the astronauts exhale, it is captured by special filters to prevent the crew from being poisoned. But wait, if water is split into oxygen, doesn't that mean the water supply should run out quickly? And here we come to the most interesting and for some shocking fact. Nothing goes to waste on the ISS, absolutely nothing. The water recycling system collects all the moisture on the station. It collects the astronauts' sweat, condensation from their breath, moisture from drying towels, and, yes, urine. All this liquid passes through an extremely complex system of filtration, chemical purification, and distillation. The end result is crystal clear drinking water. As the astronauts themselves joke, yesterday's coffee becomes tomorrow's coffee. And although that doesn't sound very appetizing, this water is much cleaner than what flows from the tap in most cities around the world. The system allows for the recycling of up to 93% of all liquid on board, saving tons of cargo from Earth. All these life support systems, computers, and scientific instruments require energy to operate, and that energy comes from the sun. The ISS doesn't have billowing sails, but it does have giant solar panels. Their wingspan exceeds the length of a Boeing 777 with its wings fully extended. They generate between 80 and 120 kilowatts of electricity, enough to power more than 40 average single-family homes. When the station is in Earth's shadow, those 45 minutes of night, it runs on massive lithium-ion batteries that are charged during the day. But space is a hostile environment, and it's not just about the vacuum. The temperature outside the station ranges from 120 degrees Celsius in the sun to minus 150 degrees in the shade. To prevent the astronauts from boiling or freezing, the station is covered with a layer of multi-layered vacuum thermal insulation. It functions like a perfect thermos, and excess heat from the equipment is dissipated into space through special radiators. In addition to temperature, there is another deadly threat: micrometeorites and space debris. Even a tiny speck of paint or a bolt traveling at orbital speed has the energy of a sniper bullet and can pierce the hull. To protect against this, the ISS modules are covered with what is known as Whipple armor. This is an outer protective shield located a short distance from the main hull. When a micrometeoroid strikes the shield, it shatters and turns into a cloud of plasma, causing no damage to the main airtight hull. Imagine that you can't put your phone on a table. It would float away. You can't pour soup into a bowl, and you can't lie down in bed. What's a typical day like in zero gravity? Astronauts sleep in special sleeping bags that are securely strapped to the walls in their private cabins, which are about the size of a phone booth. If you don't strap yourself in, you could drift into another module while sleeping and hit your head on the instruments. And yes, you can sleep standing up, upside down, or on the ceiling. In zero gravity, it makes no difference. Your vestibular system can't tell the difference. The only important thing is to have a fan running nearby to remove the carbon dioxide you exhale. Otherwise, you could suffocate in your own carbon dioxide cloud while you sleep. Food on the ISS has long since ceased to consist solely of pureed food in tubes. Nowadays, it's mostly freeze-dried food from which all moisture has been removed. An astronaut simply needs to add hot water to a plastic bag and wait a couple of minutes. Salt and pepper are used only in liquid form. If you pour out regular salt, the tiny crystals will scatter throughout the station, get into the astronaut's eyes, or clog the ventilation filters. But the most important rule of daily life is exercise. In zero gravity, muscles don't contract and bones begin to lose calcium. If a person spends half a year in space without exercising, they won't be able to stand on their own 2 feet upon returning to Earth. That's why every crew member is required to exercise for 2 hours a day. For this purpose, the station has a treadmill to which you must strap yourself or you'll float away, and a special strength training machine that operates using vacuum cylinders, since ordinary weights have no mass in space. You might ask, why spend billions of dollars and put people at risk just for a laboratory in space? The ISS is our springboard for venturing into deep space. It's here that we're learning to survive beyond Earth. Here, protein crystals are grown to create new cancer drugs. In microgravity, they take on a perfect shape, which is impossible to achieve on Earth. Here, we test water purification and air filtration systems that are already saving lives in arid regions of Africa. Here, we test the technologies we'll need to fly to Mars and build lunar bases. The ISS is proof that when humanity sets aside political boundaries and brings together its best minds, we are capable of creating something truly great. Would you like to spend half a year in orbit, sipping coffee made from recycled water and watching 16 sunrises a day? Share your thoughts in the comments. If you enjoyed this journey to the ISS, give it a like, subscribe to the channel, and click the bell icon so you don't miss new videos about how our incredible world works. See you in the next episodes.